Urgency is essential. When I look around the globe, Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, and others are increasing their collaboration and their cooperation as their interests align against us. We see this clearly in Ukraine. While President Trump pushes for a peaceful resolution to a horrible war, China continues to fund Putin's war machine. Iran continues to supply technology and weapons. And North Korean combat troops remain in Russia on Ukraine's border. And of course, there's a confluence between Russia, Iran, and Venezuela and their dark fleet of oil tankers that is helping to fund the war. In the Arctic and the high north, we see a similar trend. Russian and Chinese vessels are conducting more and more joint patrols. Chinese icebreakers and research vessels are in Arctic waters, and their research is not for peaceful purposes. It's to gain a military advantage. Russia, meanwhile, continues testing advanced capabilities in the Barents Sea. As new shipping routes emerge and new resources are discovered, the Arctic only grows in strategic importance. And all of this comes in the midst of an increasing hybrid threat: airspace violations, GPS and GNSS interference, and the shadow fleet in the Baltic Sea threatening underwater infrastructure. In short, the Arctic, and Northern Europe by extension, has become a front line for strategic competition. Within NATO, Allied command...
Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakor Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. All right, so as you can see, the military is now openly blaming, all right, mainly Russia and China for, their, new age imperialism. All right, Russia and China being to blame for, the U.S. taking over the oil in Venezuela, and now they're saying the reason that they want Greenland is because if they don't get it, Russia and China will. All right. And Beijing responded. All right, Beijing slams Trump for citing Russia and China over acquiring Greenland. All right, it says the U.S. president had previously claimed the two countries would take over the Danish island unless Washington did it first. And this is just, more propaganda, more of an excuse. All right, for the actions of this place, man. This is what they do in their media. They demonize everybody and make it seem as though that the wicked actions that they're committing are justified, man. All right. Beijing takes exception to U.S. President Donald Trump's attempts to use Russia and China as an excuse for his push into the Arctic. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning has said. Trump claimed last week that the U.S. must annex Greenland, an autonomous former Danish colony under Copenhagen's sovereignty, to contain Russia and China, suggesting that the two countries would take over the island unless Washington did it first. And Russia and China are the two most powerful nations in the BRICS, all right, which we know the BRICS nations are a way to X out the U.S. dollar in international trade. These nations are now doing their own deals to avoid sanctions and tariffs from the West, all right, because that's the only stronghold that America has in international trade is the fact that you have to use the dollar, which is the petrodollar, when you are exchanging oil, man. All right, so Russia and China being the biggest threat to the petrodollar, now they're getting the blame for everything, all right? So America can try to save the petrodollar. Beijing does not support the U.S. using China or Russia as pretext for its own self-interest, all right, because that's all it is their own self-interest. All right. Mayo told a press conference on Monday, the Arctic affects the common interests of the international community, and Beijing's activities in the region strengthen peace, stability, and sustainable development in accordance with international law. You know, and they go bringing up international law again, which Nero, you know, basically said he doesn't have to abide by international law, you know, not too long ago. All right. So they're going to continue to create these excuses and, you know, demonize China, Russia, and whoever else so they can accomplish their goal of just taking shit over, man. All right. It says on Sunday, German Foreign Minister Johann Wadeful stated that Berlin is willing to cooperate with Trump to address a supposed threat from Russian and Chinese ships in the Arctic. However, other European officials have dismissed Trump's threat assessment. All right, because there is no threat. They're not. Well, it's a threat to the petrodollar. You know, America's dominance in international trade, because that's what the BRICS was brought together for, man. All right, but as far as like a military threat, they wasn't doing shit, man. You know, Danish MP, Rasmus Jarlov stated that fantasies about a major threat from China and Russia against Greenland are delusional. A senior European diplomat also told the Financial Times that no Russian or Chinese military activity has been detected near Greenland. So he's lying. You know, he speaks with a forked tongue, man. All right, this dude is you know, it's imperialism, man, colonialism. That's all it is, man. This dude's trying to take over the whole Western Hemisphere. You know, Moscow has yet to officially respond to Trump's latest remarks, but has previously stressed that Greenland's future must be determined by its citizens and dismissed claims that Russia poses a threat. And Moscow, okay, has said the same thing about Venezuela, you know, basically saying, why is America going over there messing with them? All right, or woe unto him that increaseth that which is not his. All right, Habakkuk 2, you know, speaking, man, the nations are now turning against this place, man. You see America does the national anthem in Australia, I believe it was, and people started booing. You had people burning American flags around the world. You know, people just denouncing this place. I mean, I seen an interview with British citizens. They were asked, would you ever move to America? And they went down the laundry list of why America is not a good place. The people of Greenland as well, you know, basically saying they know what it is. This place is just, you know, wants to come over here and take our natural resources. So Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is exposing this man from every angle. All right, Russian officials have also repeatedly spoken out against the militarization of the Arctic, framing it instead as a zone for peaceful cooperation, particularly with the U.S., rather than confrontation. President Vladimir Putin has described the region as an area of enormous potential for trade and development, and that's the problem. All right, they don't want trade and development without them. You know, hence the BRICS nations being a problem for America. All right, they don't want these countries trading amongst themselves because they're not going to be able to get a piece of it. Not going to be able to tax people. Not going to be able to control who trades with who. You know, as you know what a sanction is. All right. So this place, you know, all the tricks, all the media tricks that they use as far as demonizing their enemies, it's not working no more because they are clearly the aggressor in all of these situations. It was very easy for them to create an enemy and get the people behind them. But now the world is speaking. The other nations are speaking. Even the citizens within this place are speaking out against this place because everybody knows, you know, how underhanded and untrustworthy, all right, this empire is. All right. But I ain't gonna hold you. I hope that video was edifying. Shalom.